For the credit.
Okay. First one, U.S. interest rate is lower than German interest rate. U.S. demand for euro gonna go up or down? How many of you guys think the U.S. demand for euro gonna go up? How many of you guys think it's gonna go down? The gentleman in red shirt, can you explain why? Your classmate sitting next to you. That gentleman. So anyone want to explain your reason a little bit? You want to sing us off? Okay. How about, do you want? So with lower U.S. interest.
I was going to say, so like, so we should look at it as like U.S. could be investing more euro because the euro is more.
Yes.
And now it also decreases more.
Yes. So the thing is that because U.S. interest rate is lower, more U.S. people gonna invest in euro to capitalize the higher interest rates. The demand for euro gonna increase. The supply of euro gonna reduce because the German investor will invest less in U.S. because the interest rate is lower. They're gonna sell their securities, switch it back to euro. Think about if you.
So this is from the perspective of an investor, not a borrower. Is that?
It's from the investor. Like think about the investor.
But it doesn't say that, right?
So when we talk about the demand, it's mainly from investor. If investors are willing to invest, there will be a deal. If they do not want to invest anymore, even borrower want to borrow it, there's not a transaction.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're talking to investors.
Yeah, because only demand. If investor wants to invest, they can create demand. But for borrower, they need to invest so that they can achieve a deal, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So this will be B, and with higher demand for euro and lower supply, euro gonna appreciate or depreciate against the US dollar. How many of you guys think euro gonna appreciate against the US dollar? Just the one.
So the euro appreciate?
Yes, euro's value gonna go up or down. How many of you guys think it's go up? How many of you guys think it's go down? How many of you think that you can sing the song? This is gentlemen. Go up or down? So I'm gonna give you a little time. Please draw the demand and supply schedule. Draw the demand and the supply schedule. So this is gonna be the value of euro in US dollar. This is gonna be the demand and the supply schedule, so it's quantity. And we have demand and the supply. We found that US demand for euro gonna go up to this is the original spot rate. Go to demand prime. And the supply goes lower to S prime. We're gonna find the euro's value will go up. So question 16, investor from Germany, US and UK frequently invest in each other's currency based on prevailing interest rate. If British interest rate decreases, German investors are likely to buy more or less dollar-denominated securities. How many of you guys think it's more? How about this side? You guys are so quiet. What do you think? The question is the first glance. Do you think a German investor will buy more or less dollar-denominated securities?
Wait,
Why?
so
Yes. So they're gonna buy more dollar-denominated security because the interest rate on US dollar gonna be higher. Euro gonna depreciate or appreciate relative to British pound. Euro gonna depreciate or appreciate relative to British pound. So I will give you a little time that you discuss with your classmates and think about it.
yeah, probably. What she said.
How many of you think Euro gonna appreciate against the US dollar? How many of us think Euro gonna depreciate against the British pound, the US dollar? Let's talk about that. I think I wrongly say that Euro gonna likely to appreciate against the British pound. How many of us think gonna appreciate against the British pound? How many of us think it's gonna depreciate against the British pound? Yeah, that's appreciated. So it's appreciated more and appreciated. So correct answer is D here. The reason is the demand on British pound from German gonna go. No, I'm gonna write this here. So UK's demand euro gonna go up, and the euro's supply gonna go down. So higher demand and lower supply, which result to that euro gonna go up against the British pound. The reason why euro's supply goes down because the British interest rate decrease. German investor either switch their investor to US dollar or goes to euros. So basically, if they goes to euros, they reduce the supply. Any question? No. So question 17, assume British corporations begin to purchase more supplies from US as a result of several labor strikes by British suppliers. This reflects increase, decrease in demand for British pound or increase or decrease in supply of British pound for sale. Do you think this will affect demand of British pound or supply of British pound? How many of you guys think it's demand? How many of you guys think it's a supply? And the supply increase or decrease? Increase, right? It goes up. Any event that increase US demand for euro will result increase or decrease in euro's value. So US demand for euro goes up. Value of euro with respect to which currency gonna increase or decrease? First, we need to know that because it's US demand for euro, so it must be US dollar, right? And then the value of euro in US dollar gonna go up or down? Go up, right? Right, so it will, because higher demand means higher value. Next one, any event that increase the supply of British pound to be exchanged for US dollar should result in an increase or decrease in value of British pound with respect to US dollar. Because it said it's exchanged for US dollar. So higher supply will increase or decrease British pound's value. Decrease. Okay, so it's gonna be decrease. Okay, assume that Canada places a strict quota on goods imported from US, and US does not retaliate. Holding other factor constant, this event should immediately cause the supply of Canadian dollar to be exchanged for US dollar to increase or decrease. So strict quota, I want to explain this a little bit because there's so many government policies, restrictions. Quota is like, for example, originally Canada, Canadian companies buy, let's say, 400,000 tons of dairy products. So I will put the number here. Let's say they originally have imports 400,000 tons of dairy products. And all of a sudden, Canadian government said, "Oh, this is gonna hurt our own dairy industry." So they're gonna put a quota that each year, Canada can only import 50,000 tons of dairy products. So this is called a quota. They have a restriction how many units of products and services Canadian firms and residents can import from other countries. Okay, do you think this will cause the supply of Canadian dollar increase or decrease? I will give you a little time. You can discuss with your classmates.
Are you sure? I will left my like 100% versus.
Okay, how many of you guys think the supply of a Canadian dollar gonna increase? How many of you guys think the supply of Canadian dollar gonna decrease? Okay, so it will decrease. Okay. And the value of Canadian dollar with lower supply, value of Canadian dollar will go up or down? Go up, yes. So it go up. So the correct answer is D. So 21, if a country experiences high inflation relative to US, its exports to US should be goes up or down. high inflation means their products and services becomes more expensive. So it will go down. So basically we rule out choice C. It's an inference to the increase or decrease. They have high inflation, other country has the same inflation rate. Will go up, right? Because they will buy more from, because the products and services made in other country becomes cheaper, so it will be increased. And this will be a downward pressure or upward pressure on the currency's equilibrium. Downward pressure, yes. So next one, the value of euro is 1.3 last week. During last week, euro appreciated by 5%. What's the value of euro today? So again, I'm gonna give you a little time, let you do the calculation. What do you get? Appreciated by, sorry, appreciated by. So this is appreciated by, so 5%, okay. So if you get it must be higher than 1.3. Maybe we can get the number. What do you get? Yes, so you is A here. So I also put a formula over here, so you can put this other formula sheet. So question 23, the equilibrium exchange rate of the Swiss franc is 0.9. I'm gonna draw a figure here. So this is the demand supply, and this is a Swiss franc in US dollar. This is a 0.9. And the exchange rate is 0.87. So US demand for Swiss franc should be exist or less than supply of Swiss franc for sale. And there will be a shortage or surplus of Swiss franc in the foreign exchange market. First, US demand for Swiss franc is more or less than the supply of franc for sale. So this is a price, and this is an equilibrium value. I will give you a little time. You can discuss with your classmates.
Yeah. Me too, girls. Me too, girls. Because it's
Oh, yeah, right, so.
it's just fun.
They don't get it. That's it?
No one's citizen.
Just
Nobody
say.
else.
Those are beginning.
Oh,
Where does it come from?
Like it's
Where's the
I didn't ever find out.
I just.
Okay, how many of you guys think the demand are gonna be higher than the supply? How many of you guys think the demand is less than the supply? So demand is over here, right? So that's the demand is higher than the supply. And there will be a shortage or surplus. Shortage. So because demand, this is the demanded amount. And this is the supplied amount. So demand is higher than supply and there's a shortage. So question 24, assume that British government add more tariff on imports by British companies. Other things being equal, US demand for British pound will increase, decrease, remain unchanged. Oh, you get an answer? Okay, how many of you guys agree with me? Yes, so because the US does not add any tariff, so US demand for pound should stay at the same level, right? The supply of British pound will decrease because UK people are less from US and the British pound value will go up. Okay, we have very last question. So direct quotation, indirect quotation, 1 euro equals to 1.490 for US dollar and 1 US dollar equals to how many euros? You can ignore this dollar sign. I don't know why the publisher added it. It should be euro sign. C, right? So it will be 1 divided by it. So it's C.
That's not.
Okay, so I think that's basically the sample exam. Do you have any other question? Do you get the signing sheet? Where's the signing? Oh, it's over here. So everyone sign on the signing sheet. We still have 20 minutes. Anything you want to say, Kazan? Yeah, ready? Go, 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 go. Okay, so that's today's class, and hopefully maybe enjoy your weekend, and our exam will be next Tuesday.
Yeah.
I will laugh my